I think a key part of that starts at the very beginning with effective relationships, building that trust right from the get-go with our learners as we first meet them.
Yeah, absolutely. Breaking down barriers pretty quick is quite key, and getting good foundations for a learner to start progressing, I think. Feeling comfortable and understanding themselves as well.
Yeah. It's also showing that we're human as well, right? Showing them if we share a weakness or a challenge that we've experienced, it gives them sort of the, not permission, but they feel at ease to let their guard down and share with us the area they may have, or their strength.
Yeah.
And in the context of work-based learning, our learners are also our employers, so it's understanding who they are, what they do, and how can we help them get from point A to point B and support them in their learning along the journey. So,
because the other thing is they all bring strengths as well. It's just a matter of finding them and bringing it out to them, and getting them to understand what their strengths are as well.
And I think that relationship isn't just built at the beginning, it's a continuum, right? The challenges they may have at the beginning, they may overcome, but then new ones as they go along.
Yeah.
And so knowing your learner right the way through, good communication. Drawing on the strengths that they bring is when we have these conversations with our learners and employers, knowing their strengths, then we can relate what we're talking to them about to the strengths that they've got, giving them examples that they go, oh, I get it now. And then they have that aha moment, now I understand, because it relates to what I've done in the past and experience I've had.
And I guess with work-based learning as well, is it's not the same path for everybody, it's different. Yeah. So you might get to that part and go, actually, we need to shift over here. We're quite unique in regards that we can do that.
The goals relate to what they already know. If you're working with a apprentice or a trainee that's been in the trade for 2 or 3 years as opposed to straight out of high school, your goals are going to reflect the experience they have. You don't start everyone at the same point. You treat everyone as an individual, and their journey will look different because of that. That's part of respecting that too, is that you're not there to get them through it or push them in one direction. It's more of a collaborative approach. And by doing that, you get to know the learner, you have that mutual respect, they relax more, it's on a level playing field, and that's probably when it really starts firing.
Tauira apprentices or our TAs, first and foremost them knowing that you or their TA believe in them is often where that starts, right?
Yeah, and it's all, I think the TAs can do that even just from a practical point of view by saying, you know, your boss wouldn't have employed you if they didn't, and signed you into an apprenticeship if they didn't have faith that you've got the capabilities and ability to do it. And so we're trying to embed that belief in the learner, that, you know, we've got belief in them and they've shown signs that they've got the ability to do it.
Yeah, well, I quite often will discuss what does it mean if we don't have these expectations, or we don't set, you know, shared goals and outcomes, because what does that look like if we don't have, you know, you're not creating an environment where the person has a ceiling of something that they want to achieve and then a pathway to get there. So that creates a void. You don't know, you don't have direction, you don't know where you're going and how you're going to get there. When we go out to site with a training advisor and we see them interacting with a learner, quite often they're not aware of what who that learner is.
I remember very vividly being on a building site. I was almost a year in and I thought, how am I going to be that person in 3 years' time that can build a house from start to finish? That seemed real unachievable. And reflecting, I had nobody telling me that I could.